Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is a different kind of setup for me. I just kind of wanted to do a casual haul today, not with the background. So I basically just kind of like flipped my filming setup to a different angle in the room. So I'm in the same room, it's just different setup. So I'm just kind of getting comfy here on the couch, and I thought it would be fun if I just, showed you guys what I got, really relaxed and chill. I hope the glare on the CDs behind me isn't awful. I can kind of see it's a little bit glary, but hopefully it doesn't distract from the video, and I also hope I'm in focus, because that would really suck. The camera's a little too far away for me to try to focus. I don't have an autofocus camera. That is next on the priority list. Maybe instead of buying makeup, I will buy a new camera, because I would love to have a new camera. So anyway, I shopped at Sephora, Ulta, TJ Maxx, and I think Walmart is where I got some of the drugstore stuff. It's not a huge haul, but I've tried a lot of the stuff, so I kind of want to tell you guys how I feel about a lot of the stuff that I got. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with all my Sephora purchases first. First, I got the new Violet Voss Taupe Notch palette. Now, if you've watched me before, I kind of go on about Violet Voss eyeshadows because they're my absolute favorite. I think the mattes and the shimmers are both really good. This is what the Taupe Notch palette looks like. So some things that I like about this palette, because I have played around with it a little bit. Number one is the packaging. So I will pull out, these are my other Violet Voss palettes. I have the Drenched Metal and the Holy Grail palette. As you can see, these palettes are absolutely disgusting and filthy. And because of that soft touch packaging, I can't clean them because it's just not that kind of material, so I can't wipe it off with a wipe. What I like about this palette is that it is that kind of soft feel that I can actually wipe down with a wipe. Not that that's super important, but I thought I would just mention that. Another thing I want to mention is that it's kind of a unique palette in the sense that there's a lot of cool toned eyeshadow in here, and I feel like right now cool toned eyeshadow is not the vibe. Like right now, everyone's going on about warm-toned eyeshadows, and oranges and yellows and bronzy tones. Not that this palette doesn't have bronzy tones, but I love that it throws in some more cool-toned shimmery shades and matte shades, as well as keeping some of those warm tones to help with transition shades and blending out later. I think this palette's awesome. Everything blends really well, and overall it's just beautiful. I love it. Next from Sephora was an item I ended up returning. It was the Boscia Luminizing Pink Mask. They did a collaboration with Valley Cruise Press. I believe that's what they're called. And they have this really cute limited edition pink mask. I returned it because it burned my eyes really, really badly. I had never tried the black mask before, but I was obviously drawn to the pink packaging like everyone else, I feel like. And yeah, I didn't like the way my eyes feel. They've never burned so badly, and I didn't even get it close to my eyes. I kind of was like here, and it still burned my eyes. So I couldn't even keep it on for the full amount of time and, for it to wash off. So I thought I'd just mention that because I did end up returning that and getting something else, which I will show you guys now. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Foundation. I bought the shade Vanille. This is the 1N2 shade. I got this because I had heard so many people going on about how it's literally the best foundation ever. And I mean, it's pretty good. I really don't have any dislikes about this foundation. What I can tell you though is that it's not very matte, but it's matte foundation for sure. And it's because it's matte, I feel like it stays on for a really good amount of time. It stays on my skin all day. Because it's matte, sometimes I want a little bit more of a glow to my face, so I'll mix it with a liquid luminizer like the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfectors, or like from the drugstore, the Maybelline squeezy ones. I forgot what they're called. The strobing liquid. Yeah, that's what it's called. In the shade Iridescent. That's really good. Another thing I like about it is that it's really flawless coverage, but it is not cakey looking at all. So you have a nice matte finish that's really flawless, not cakey. They have a really good shade range, I think, and I am just I'm actually happy that the Boscia mask didn't work out, so that I got this instead. So yeah, so I'm super excited to continue wearing this foundation. If you see me looking down, I have like a list of little like notes that I've made about the products so that I can give you guys kind of my opinions without messing up or like forgetting what I'm gonna say. Next, I have something that was on sale actually. It was one of the weekly wows at Sephora, which if you don't know, every Thursday Sephora puts out new products that are half off. Usually they're half off. There's usually like 6 products, and they're usually pretty popular products as well. So if you don't know, go and check that out, because it's really seriously such a lifesaver, especially if you're a makeup addict like me and you have to have everything but don't want to pay $40 for something you may or may not like. But $20, that's a little more doable. And that's why I got this next product. It's the Tarte's Pro Glow palette from Tarte. So this is a like contour and highlighting palette. The packaging is going to blind you. Absolutely. But I think it's really cool how it opens up like that. It's very unique, I think. So I'm going to kind of tuck those behind for now. So you have 4 highlighters and then 2 contour shades. You have one that's a cream contour, powder contour, and then 4 powder highlight shades. So basically, what I have to say about this palette, I've been using it for a little while, is I love the contour shade, the sculpt shade right here. I think it's really good. I haven't used this yet. I've swatched it, as you can probably tell. I've swatched it, but I haven't used it on my face, but I'm not really a cream contour kind of person. I feel like that's just an extra step that I don't really want to do every day, just because I feel like I'd have to set it with powder anyway, so I don't really see the point. But to each their own. If you like contouring with creams, then this has a cream in it. It also smells really good. It smells like the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes, which I think is a little strange, but because that's kind of Too Faced thing. But I mean, hey, it smells good and it's not hurting anybody, so that's okay. My only kind of meh about this palette, my dislike, is that there really is only one highlight shade that works for my skin tone, since I am pretty fair. These 3 shades right here, Lit, Fire, and Stunner, are just a hair too dark, to the point where if I'm looking directly straight, you can see like little dark lines on my face. Which is kind of a bummer, but it's okay because I love the palette and I collect makeup, so it doesn't really bother me. Also, if I'm doing makeup on someone else, I love using this palette. So the shade that I use is Strobe, which is a lot different from a lot of other eyeshadows, whereas it only almost looks like it's matte with shimmer running through it. But as you guys can see, it's really pretty. And yeah, no harm, no foul. That's it right there at the top. Oh, see? Yeah, you can see it there. So anyway, I think this palette is really good. So if you, I would say, are medium to deep, I think you would get a little bit more use out of this palette than someone who's super fair. But that is just my 2 cents on this palette. Also, the packaging is very similar to the old Violet Voss packaging. As you guys can see, it's kind of that soft matte, soft touch packaging where it gets dirty, which I don't like, but I mean, I'll live, you know. Okay, so now let's move on to the stuff I got at Ulta. So I love Ulta because they have drugstore makeup as well as high-end makeup, and recently they've been killing it by introducing new brands into their store, into their mix of products. So that's exciting for a lot of those more indie brands, and also for the consumer, because it makes it a lot easier to shop those brands. But I won't get into that right now. I didn't get anything from any of those brands. So at Ulta, first thing I got is the Milani Afterglow highlight in the shade Strobe Light. As you can see, it's so beautiful and so glowy. The pattern on the highlight is really pretty as well. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to swatch it right here on my hand. At the very top, that's what it is right there. I think it's a beautiful highlight, and I love that it's light enough for my skin tone. At the drugstore, I feel like it's really hard to find highlights that are light enough, that aren't, because I feel like they make highlights really for like the mass market, and most of the time that's people with medium skin tones that are a little bit tan. So they make those tan highlights, but are too light for people who are deep in skin tone and too dark for people who are light in skin tone. So I love that they came out with multiple shades of this, and I obviously got the lightest one, which again is called Strobe Light. I like this highlight a lot. My only complaint with it is very cool toned, so it's not going to give you that kind of bronzy highlighted look. It's going to be a little bit more stark and cool toned, which I like sometimes, but not all the time. So this isn't going to be a highlight that I wear all the time. More like a, if I'm wearing more of a cool toned eye makeup look, that I would wear it then. So that's my only thing with it, but I like it. Okay, next I got a foundation from MAC. This is my very first MAC foundation. Like, can you believe that? I feel like MAC is such a staple brand, and I actually don't have that much from them just because I didn't really ever have a MAC store near me, but now that MAC is at Ulta, I feel like, you know, more inclined to shop there, I guess. So this is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15, which is awesome. So basically this just came with like a cap on it. I bought the pump separately, and the pump has like a little, oops, has like a little cap thing that you kind of put on there. So it's kind of annoying that I had to buy the pump separately, but I mean, I'll live, like it's not a big deal. I love this foundation though. Like I've never tried a foundation that looks so natural on the skin, but gives such a good coverage. So I am just absolutely in love with this. I think it's a nice like satin finish to the point where it's not super glowy, but it's also not matte. It just kind of like stays on your skin all day looking really nice and just like normal skin, like very natural finish sort of foundation. I got the shade NC15 and I kind of just guessed my shade online, and luckily I guessed correctly because this shade does work for me really well. This is just going to be an amazing foundation. I think I will always love this, and it's kind of fun because like I said, I never tried anything from MAC as far as the foundations go, so I'm excited that I just kind of like chose the Studio Fix Fluid and said, well, we'll see, and it turned out really nicely. So yeah, move on to what I got at TJ Maxx. So if you don't know, TJ Maxx every once in a while will have some amazing makeup and skincare sort of items that are actually pretty high-end and amazing. So if you were ever to TJ Maxx, check that out for sure, because sometimes you will find something super cool, and I found a couple super cool things at TJ Maxx recently. First thing that I found was the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is one of their mini contour quads. I have one of these already. I have the shade Rust. This is the shade Plum. So this is what it looks like. It's just a really nice purple matte palette. I love the formula of these. I haven't actually used this specific palette on my eyes yet because I just got it pretty recently. But the eyeshadows are super, super buttery, super soft, very pigmented. And yeah, I think this was marked down, I think to $9. And these were in their the $20 range when they first came out. So about 50% off, probably more than 50% off actually. So I am like super, super pumped to try this out, and I'm really glad I got a good bargain on it too. The second thing I got at TJ Maxx, and the last thing I got, is this was actually kind of a cool find, the Smashbox Matte Exposure Palette. This is still being sold at Sephora for like $50, and I got it for $24, so it's literally half off almost. This isn't sold at Sephora anymore, the Shade and Light Eye Quad, so I wasn't surprised to see it there. This I was surprised to see there, because they do still sell this. So this basically is just an all matte eyeshadow palette. You have your cool tones and your warm tones, and you have these two shades, like a nice transition shade here, and then a nice shade to set down your eye base. That is really helpful. So something that I noticed about this palette is that it'd be really, really great to maybe a beginner in makeup who doesn't have a just all matte eyeshadow palette yet. Because I'm a makeup hoarder and an addict, I have countless matte palettes, not countless, but I have quite a few all matte palettes. My favorite being the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette. I just absolutely love it. However, it doesn't have any cool toned eyeshadows, whereas this one does. So yeah, I think this would be a really good beginner palette. So if you are, you know, in the market for one of these, they sell it at Sephora, but check your TJ Maxx first because you might find it there. Okay, and then lastly, some stuff that I got from Walmart. First, I got the Milani Baked Blush in the shade Rose d'Oro. So it looks like this. It's a really pretty blush. I love it. So I really loved, you guys can kind of see it right there, my finger. I really love Milani's Baked Blush in the shade Luminoso, and I was kind of like, you know, I don't really have another one, and I love the formula so much. Why don't I get another one? They're like $6, so whatever. I really love this color. The baked blushes are so good. And I love the color for fall especially because it's kind of like a darker peach, pinky kind of color. And it's marbled and it's just absolutely gorgeous with a little bit of shimmer. So it'll give you a little bit of a glowy finish to the skin. Next, I got the Rimmel Match Perfection Concealer in the shade 125 Fair. I don't really have good luck with Rimmel products. They're usually just not light enough for my skin tone. So I kind of saw this and I looked at it and I was like, you know, that looks pretty light. It might actually work. And it totally does. So this concealer looks like, well, you can't really see it, but it's very close to my skin tone. It's a little bit lighter, thank God. So I can highlight my under eye area with it. I really like this concealer a lot, and I'm so pumped that they had a shade that would be perfect for my skin tone. Okay, and then lastly is probably the most exciting purchase at the drugstore, almost out of everything I got, honestly. This is the L'Oreal Hydra Perfecte, or just Perfect with an E on the end, I don't know. Perfecting Loose Powder. So I got the shade 916 translucent. This is a Walmart exclusive, I later have found out. So basically, I was just looking for a new loose translucent powder because I'm running low on my number 7 one, and if you guys saw my last video, I'm also out of my Laura Mercier translucent powder. So I knew I needed to get another powder so I could bake my under eye area and just overall kind of set my face. And this caught my eye because it said Hydra Perfect, which made me think it's going to be a perfecting powder, but also hydrating, which is, I feel like, kind of hard to come by, a powder that's hydrating, especially from the drugstore. So if you have dry skin, for sure check this one out. So basically, it's also, okay, so it smells absolutely amazing. It's just one of those things you have to try it, you know? So if you have a sensitivity to scents in makeup or powders, skincare sort of thing, I don't know if this would be good for you because it obviously has a scent to it. Like, it's an added fragrance for sure. It's not like the natural fragrance of the powder. So be wary of that. But I don't have that kind of sensitivity, so I am absolutely obsessed with this, and I think it's so, so good. And also something I want to add is that it does say it's translucent, and it actually is translucent. A lot of times you'll buy translucent powders and they'll have kind of a pinky hue to it. This has kind of that true translucent yellow, beige, you can't see it, sort of coloring to it. So I would just like to say it is truly transparent and I'm loving it. Okay, that is everything that I got recently at Sephora, Ulta, TJ Maxx, and Walmart. So yeah, I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope you guys liked kind of the new, not new, just this like different background. I'm probably not going to keep it this way as it's kind of hard for me to see myself and mess with the camera if I'm doing a makeup tutorial. So I don't think I'll keep it like this, but every once in a while it's kind of fun to switch it up a little bit, and I desperately need to get a new background. I desperately need one. Like, I've had that background, I feel like, for like a year. I'm just haven't gone out and gotten one. I need to go to Joann's Fabric and get another background. But anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye.